So I'm being digitally booed by 450 people and being seen by over 2 million people. In an hour, I managed to become the most hated speaker in the entire world. Hey, this is Iman Agai, the founder of Success Road Academy and the creator of Ultimate Course Formula. And this is the second video of my speaking career, like what it took to build my speaking career. So in the first video, I quickly talked about how I used to have a 4-hour commute, going to a place, staying there for 16 hours, to get an opportunity to talk like half an hour a week, going to several Toastmasters clubs, running my own Vancouver business network to own my stage and everything. And if you haven't watched that video, just actually go and watch that video first, so you kind of get a grasp of that public speaking opportunity, like what it took in the first place. But then I got that story to the point that I got invited to my biggest stage to that date, which I got invited to a stage in January 30th, 2011, to speak in front of 450 people. And how I got invited there is because I was running Vancouver Business Network. I was inviting all of these big name speakers. So I started being seen as an influencer. And the organizer of this event came to my event, and he saw that I have 100 people attending my event. And he came to me at the end. He's like, Iman, I'd like you to speak at my event. And I'm like, okay, I was not expecting to get invitation to a 450 people event. And I was like, yes, dude, I'd like to put you on my stage. And I was flying. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna change my entire career. 450 people. I emigrated. I went through so much crap to speak on a big stage. And I asked him, I was like, who are the other people on the stage? It's like people from Hootsuite, people from David Suzuki Foundation, really big names of the industry. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be one of those people. Like, I'm gonna share the stage with these big names. I was like the happiest I could ever be. And we talked to each other. I'm like, okay, so who are gonna be the audience members? He said, there's gonna be 50 plus year old business owners who don't know how to use social media. And we're gonna teach them how to use social media. So there are different topics and stuff. And he wanted me to speak on Facebook ads, which was one of my expertise. And I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. I'm so excited about this, and I'm going to prepare, right? So I started writing my presentation. I started practicing in my Toastmasters club. I started inviting these 50 plus year entrepreneurs and presenting the talk to them, and testing in front of so many people, and got feedback from them, and I got this talk to a perfect 5-star talk. And I was so ready. I was ready to jump on the stage and rock that stage. I got to the day before the stage, before the event, and I got food poisoning. And pretty much I spent the whole night hugging the toilet bowl, I was awful. I went to bed at 5 a.m. I was not feeling good. I went to bed at 5 a.m. and my talk was supposed to be at 1 p.m. So I slept till 11. I woke up at 11, took a shower, and I got ready, dressed up, went to the event. I got to the event at 12:45. 15 minutes before my talk, I went directly to the stage, gave my PowerPoint to the organizer. He put my PowerPoint on the computer. It hit 1 p.m. And my talk was there. I did my presentation. I did everything exactly as I planned. Every movement, every sentence, everything exactly the way that I wanted it. And I finished my presentation. I came down, and there is this group of 50-year-old plus business owners hang around me. They were asking questions. They got very interested. I'm like, I rocked the stage. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to change my life. And then I went and sat on my chair and I loaded up Twitter. And Twitter back then was a thing. And I started loading things, and there was this hashtag, the hashtag for the event, SM Unplugged. I searched for hashtag SM Unplugged, and then the first tweet that I saw was this guy that said, I wish I was eating my Mexican food instead of hearing this bullshit. I'm like, that's weird. He didn't like to talk, right? I'm like, okay. I went to the next one, and the next one is like, I'm wondering when this crazy asshole is gonna stop talking. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And then I went to the next one, and they're like, oh, I can't wait for this guy to sell me a Buick. I'm like, and part of my last name is Buick, so he was like playing with my last name. It's like, what? I wasn't even selling any. What the hell, right? And then the next one is like, oh, this corporate person is like doing this talk and he doesn't deserve to be on this stage. I'm like, I've never worked in a corporation in my life. What are you talking about? I saw like one negative tweet after another, after another, after another. And I was like, what is happening? So as I was reading these tweets, and these are tweets from people who are at the event, right? I saw there's this robot on Twitter that whenever anything was trending, it would actually post a tweet as like, this hashtag is trending in Vancouver, or is trending in BC, or is trending in Canada, right? So it's like, I saw this hashtag that said, hashtag SM Unplugged is trending in Vancouver. So suddenly everybody who is in Vancouver is seeing the hashtag SM Unplugged is trending in Vancouver, right? Because there's so many people tweeting against me in such a short time that now the hashtag is trending in, you know, the whole Vancouver. It's the most important thing happening in Vancouver. And I was like, okay. And then now there are these other people who are not even at the event, but they see this robot that's like saying that it's trending. So people go and click on it and see like, okay, somebody is crashing and burning on the stage, but they're not even at the event. So they are messaging back. They're like, hey, who is crashing and burning at SM Unplugged? Who is crashing and burning, right? Who is like, oh, apparently somebody sucks on this Unplugged, right? There's like, and so they started tweaking about this, which increased the number of tweets, right? And then the people who were at the event, they are like taking pictures of me, like tagging my account, everything. And so that adds more tweets and stuff on the same hashtag. And then these people who are not at the event, they're like Google, searching me on Google, and then like finding stuff on Google. It's like, oh, they go to check out my LinkedIn account, to check like the university I've studied at, to check this or that way. And then they are like adding more flames. They're like, oh yeah, I just blah, blah, blah. And then now, because they're tweeting all like on this, suddenly like I'm now scrolling down, I'm reading all of these messages on my cell phone. And then I get to this one that says, hashtag SM Unplugged trending in BC. So now this is the most important thing that is happening in the entire BC, in the entire province of BC. And then now people who are not even in Vancouver, they are looking at this, and like a few minutes later, I see this other thing. It's like hashtag SM Unplugged trending #1 in Canada. And it's being seen by over 2 million people. So I'm being digitally booed by 450 people and being seen by over 2 million people. In an hour, I managed to become the most hated speaker in the entire world. I broke the record of being digitally booed in an hour as a speaker speaking at one event. I was just sitting there. I was thinking, this is the day that was supposed to change my entire life. This was supposed to be my biggest break. This was the break that I was looking for my entire life. I was thinking what I actually went through and what I took my wife through to get this one opportunity in my life, and how I screwed it up. And I didn't even know how I screwed it up. I'm like, this talk was a 5-star talk. presented it and practiced it and practiced it. I'm like, I had no idea, like, how can people not like this? So I went to the organizer, his name was Jonathan, and I said, Jonathan, what happened? I said, I think the kids didn't like you. I'm like, who are the kids? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, we weren't able to sell the tickets to 50-year-old business owners, so we did a special for college students to come to the event. So there are several 19-year-old people in the audience who are studying on media. So there are 250 people in this room that there were 19-year-old college students who were studying media, and I was teaching them what a Facebook post is. I didn't know. I was not supposed to talk to a 19-year-old college, but because I was sick the night before, I didn't show up in the morning. I didn't know who is in the room. So I didn't have the time to change my presentation or anything. I presented a talk that was prepared for 50-year-old business owners. I presented it to 19-year-old kids. But that didn't change the reality that I was the most hated speaker. Trending #1, being booed, being seen by over 2 million people. I just couldn't focus, I couldn't think about anything. I just asked my wife to drive me back home, and as I was sitting in the car, I started doubting everything. And I know that that has happened to you as well. I started doubting whether I ever made the right decision. It's like, I started thinking, how many speakers do you know that they have the accent that you have? You don't have any knowledge. You don't deserve to be on the stage. Why do you think you even deserve having the dream that you have? You almost became homeless because of this dream. You almost made your wife become homeless. You went days and days by having money only for eating one meal. And you're not gonna ever make it as a speaker. Why do you think you have the right to make it? Went home and I just couldn't get over the guilt of what I had caused my wife to go through over the past few years, and how big of an embarrassment I was to my family, and how I ruined everything she could have because of my own dream. So that day I went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. I was just like going through this whole guilt trip, this whole doubting myself and doubting everything that I'd ever done in my life. And I woke up the next day, get out of bed next day, I was like, still like have the guilt, have the fear. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. Now Monday morning, something clicked in my mind. What I clicked was like, I was just booed. I just got booed by over 450 people in less than an hour. But the 450 people who knew nothing about me, who didn't give a shit about my dream, who didn't care about who I am, what I'm about, where I come from, and what I can bring to this world, got booed by 450 people who got into this mob mentality that somebody is crashing and burning, so let's add more fuel to it because it's fun. And who gives a shit about what he is going to go through? And that day I realized that I'm giving up on my dream because of some people who don't give a shit about me. And then that day, I decided to stop giving a shit about people who don't give a shit about me. I was broken though. It was not easy. I called the Toastmaster of that week and I said, I need you to put me on the stage. I need you to put me on the stage now because I need to get back to somewhere that is safe, somewhere that I'm used to, like presenting to my friends. So he did. I told him this story. So he canceled another speaker, replaced me with him. put me on the stage on Wednesday night. I went on the stage and I told the story. I told the exact story. I had these 50 people who got up on their feet and gave me a standing ovation. In that moment, I realized one thing. I realized that there are lots of people who also care about me, who also get inspired when I'm authentic, when I tell the truth, when I share my real experiences and my real stories and what it takes to go through this journey. I have lots of troopers behind me that are cheering for me. And that I realized that when I make it as an international professional speaker, many of those 450 people would never even remember me or remember who I was. And even some of them who may remember me, a few of them who may remember me, they would see me and they come to me and say, "You came a long way." Why would I care about them? So I kept going as a public speaker. I worked my ass off to make it happen. Until in 2016, I did my TEDx talk. And I did my TEDx talk in front of 2,700 people sitting in the audience. I got a standing ovation from these amazing people. They was just like kind of, I think my standing ovation was about 3 minutes. Like when the MC went on the stage, he actually had a hard time getting people stop clapping. They just were just clapping and clapping and clapping. And that talk became one of the best TEDx talks of the history. It's just like, if you read the comments below, it's like, "Oh, this is the best TEDx talk." It's like every comment is that this is the best TEDx talk I've ever heard. And when I came back to the audience, there was this group of 100, 200 people around me. I don't even know how many people. It was like this big circle. And the talks were continuing, right? And then people were like, forget about that. Just like, they just gathered around me. It just, and within this like whole, like people like congratulating me and like saying how I motivated them, all of it, somebody tapped me on the shoulder. I was like, overwhelmed with the response, right? And somebody in the middle of this tapped into my shoulder, I tapped on my shoulder and said, "Iman, I just want to tell you one thing, you came a long way." So I turned back and like he said the exact same words I was waiting for 5 years, right? So I turned back to him and I said, "When did you hear me first time speaking?" I was so hoping that it says 2011. Like I was just so dying for it. I said 2013. And 2013, I'd already made it as an international speaker. I was already speaking in several stages. I was like, wow, so I came a long way since 2013? I even didn't know that. I thought I came a long way since 2011. But there is a big lesson there. No failure is permanent. In fact, the only thing that you can call it failure is giving up. Everything else is a learning experience. That day in 2011, on January 30th, 2011, was one of the greatest learning experiences for me, because now, a day before the event, I call the organizer and I say, "Who are the people in the room?" That's it. That's just the one lesson I learned from that day. So if I need to change my presentation, I just change my presentation. You know, I could give up on my entire dream that day, because some 19-year-old kids just felt, oh, somebody's crashing and burning on the stage, so let's, add fuel to that. As a result of that, I would not make the impact that I've made in the world today. I've inspired thousands and thousands of my students today to go and make an impact on the lives of thousands and thousands of people. Probably to this date, I've impacted over 10 million lives. My students have helped them to overcome their anxiety, lose their weight, have better relationships, make more money. All of those things that my students do when they create their online courses and inspire people and get on the stages and do all of those things, I could give up on all of that. I could give up on all of that just because some 19-year-old kids felt, oh, everybody's booing him, so let us boo him too. See, when you have a dream and you care about that dream so much and you know the impact and the change that you're gonna make in your life and in other people's lives, and you care about that dream so much that instead of giving up, you learn, you turn any failure into a learning experience. That's the time that you fail forward. And when you fail forward and when you fail fast, every day you get closer to your success. Any dream that you have today, you can achieve in 10 years. Any dream that you have today, you can achieve in 10 years. In 2008, I had the dream of becoming an international professional public speaker. I couldn't speak English. I couldn't travel to most countries in the world. I didn't have any network. I didn't have any connections. I'd never written a book. I was the most unlikely person to ever become a public speaker. I'm an extremely introverted person. By 2018, I was an international professional public speaker. I was the founder of Entrepreneurs International Network, which is one of the largest networking organizations in the world, and founded by an extreme introvert. I had helped thousands and thousands of people by my online programs, I was the most unlikely person to succeed. Now here's an interesting thing. When I was a kid, I couldn't pronounce 13 letters. I had to actually go through 2 years of speech therapy to be able to speak like regular human beings. Because to me, this is a book was did it a dude. Because I couldn't pronounce th, I couldn't pronounce be, I couldn't pronounce s, I couldn't pronounce k. I would replace all of them with d. I had to go through 2 years of speech therapy because I couldn't pronounce 13 letters. Nobody would ever imagine anywhere in my life that a kid that was stuttering and couldn't pronounce 13 letters could become a world-class international speaker who shares the stage with the biggest names of the industry. Any dream that you have, you can achieve in 10 years. You can become a doctor in 10 years. You can become a lawyer in 10 years. You can become an international professional public speaker. You can become anyone you want in 10 years. All it takes is you knowing your 10-year dream and work at it every single day. So, go below in the comment and tell me, what's your dream? What's the dream that you're willing to work so hard at, that you're not willing to give up on because you know the impact that it's going to make in your life, the impact that it's going to make in other people's lives, and the impact that it's going to make in the lives of thousands and millions of people as a result of that dream. Look forward to reading every single one of your comments and hearing your amazing dreams. Look forward to seeing them and see you on another video.